coming. It means a lot to me. And to my team, you girls, it's why it's so fun and what it means to do it. And the girls that come to our unit meetings every week and inspire me. Okay, so my Mary Kay journey began in December of 2013. And I know you're like, no, she just said that it was April of 2014. But it did, because at the end of 2013, we found ourselves in a financial situation. We had Tucker, our youngest, in November of that year, and when we went to do our end-of-year taxes, we found ourselves in a position that I needed to return to work. And my husband, as we have said, is a farmer, and I knew that returning to work meant for me that I have a bachelor's degree in business management. So it meant that I would need to get a job in Fort Wayne to get a decent job. So I would take my boys to daycare at 7 in the morning. I would pick them up at 6 o'clock at night. I would take them home and bathe them and feed them and put them to bed. And the majority of their life would be spent with someone else. My husband works crazy hours, 20 hours a week, in the spring and in the fall. And so it meant that someone else would be raising my kids. And it wasn't something I was okay with. So we decided to explore some other options, and we looked into putting up a chicken barn. At the time, my sister and future brother-in-law they had just purchased a chicken barn, and so they were looking for a company to fill it. And so we went along with them in the hopes of putting up a chicken barn, and we found a company that was great. But for this company to work, I was going to have to run the chicken barn. And as you have heard, I've come from a farming family and an entrepreneurial family, but of my family, I'm the least farmer-ish. Lucas and I, our story is the farmer's daughter, and he was working for my parents, and that's how we got together. But before I met Lucas, I was never going to marry a farmer, and I was never going to live in Huntington, Indiana. I was going to Chicago. I was going to be a singer. But I knew the alternative was me going back to work, so I agreed to it. I was like, okay, God, if this is what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to be in chickens 2 times a day, collecting eggs, I can do it. But the whole thing came kind of crashing down on us exactly a year ago, last week. And we found ourselves in a spot, it gets me, because God very, very confidently shut that door. And so we're like, okay, what do we do? And so then in April, I got a call from Linda. And it's the same call that a lot of you might be making right now. Hey, the starter kit's on sale this month. It's $75. Would you like to get together and maybe Mary Kay would fit for your life now? She said it like that, Mary Kay would fit for your life now, because Linda recruited me for over 3 years. Over 3 years. She had asked me at so many stages of my life if this would be right for me. See, we were Mary Kay girls growing up. My mom was an avid Mary Kay user, and you can tell because she looks so young. But she was an avid Mary Kay user. And we were on all of the product. And so after I got married, I wanted to still use the product, but I was cheap. I was not going to buy that full price. So I would always just have a party for Linda and have friends over, and then I'd give product free. So,
well, 50% off.
Yeah, we'll get a good discount. And so Linda always said, what do you think about Mary Kay? And I was always too busy. I was going to school. I was pregnant. It was farming. I was pregnant again. I always had an excuse for it. But now I didn't have an excuse. And I looked back at that time, and I honestly am thankful because I'm a fixer. So in that month time frame where I didn't have a plan, I'm so thankful that I did not go get a job, because my gut instinct was to fix the problem. But we just waited. And so then I went and listened to Linda, and it was not with obstacles. I called my mom right before I went, and I was like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this whole Mary Kay thing? It seems too good to be true. And she's like, she drives a pink car, Anna. I mean, you got to at least hear her out. Okay, you're probably right. So I went, and we signed the agreement that night, and I ordered my inventory, and we just kind of took off with it. And the thing that I could say that I did, like Linda said, was that everything that she told me to do, I did. So she told me to get an inventory, have a grand opening, do 15 faces in 15 days, do 30 faces in 30 days. That was April, so I booked my flight to seminar without even, I'm like, what is seminar? I don't know what that is. and I just went everywhere she invited me to go. And so in June, Carly and Linda were going to Goshen for a new director debut, and they invited anyone to go with them. And of course, I went with them because I wanted to be important and feel important and go with them. So I went with them, and it was the director debut of Brittany Beeler, and that's an offspring of Roseanne's. But it was just a God moment because everything about Brittany and I's story really matches up. She comes from an entrepreneurial family. She was really young when she got married. She had kids really young, and so I really connected with her story. And it was where I finally saw the grand vision about what Mary Kay was all about. And then Kendra Cross spoke, and she's a national sales director of Meritai, and she gave me permission. She was the one that said that we could do this. She stood up and she said, us Generation Yers, so I'm speaking to you in the room, we don't have to take years to do this. We don't have to take years to become a sales director. That we live in a fast-paced society and we're used to that, and so it doesn't have to take forever. And so when she gave me that permission, then we just went and did it. And so the first goal was to move into Red Jacket, and so we started working towards that, and Linda was just great, always by my side. And she did our first 19 interviews with us. But in that time frame, from June to July, we added our 3 team members. Becca, my sister, came on for personal use, and then Carly and Kayla. And we got to debut a Red Jacket at Seminar, and it was just leadership, and you felt, when I was walking around Dallas, I felt important, and it was what I needed for my high I personality to. But it was a game changer for us. And then going to Seminar, if you are sitting in the room and you don't know if you'll go to Seminar, you need to go to Seminar because it changes the game. And I saw what it did, what Mary Kay could do for every woman. There were women there that were tall, that were short, that were skinny, that were curvy, that were American, that were Mexican. I mean, they're walking across the stage and they can barely say their names. But it was amazing to see that this works on a wide scale for anyone and everyone. And I made the commitment there that I would debut as a director by leadership so that I could take Lucas to Nashville. And we did. It was so fun. And all the husbands got to go. And Nashville's a really fun city, so it was fun. We came home from from Seminar on this high, and I'm really excited. And so in August, we added 2 more team members. We added Heather, my very dear, sweet friend. And we also added Terry, my hairdresser, and she has a great little business too. But in that month, my sister had a beautiful wedding, and we went to, we left and went on vacation, and we were going to the hills and hollers of Tennessee. And Linda's boxing me like, hey, remember your goal was to go into DIQ on September 1st. DIQ means Director in Qualifications. And I was like, yeah, that's still the goal. And then I'm in the hills and holler, and I don't have any service. And it just, I could feel God saying, breathe. Take a second. And so we did. And that's something that I want to speak today, that it's okay to breathe and to take a second. And God's delays are not God's denials, and that doesn't mean that it's not still His plan for your life. So we came home, and honestly, it was the renewed spirit that I needed. While I was gone, I read Mary Kay's book on people management, and Mary Kay just in general was a great businesswoman. Like, I truly believe that anyone that owns a business needs to go to some of her training. Like, when we're going to leadership, I'm like, Lucas, you need to sit in this class and you need to listen. Because the leadership skills that you learn through this company and just the way you treat people are amazing. And so from that book, it just changed my mind. And we came home, and in September, I met an amazing woman named Emily Jones, and we're not related, but she changed the whole thing because she has a crazy story, an amazing story. Her little boy was really sick at the time, and she was living back and forth between Cincinnati, and I just given her a facial, and I wanted to help her. And I asked her how I could help her, and I said, what if we do a party, and you take the books, and you take the receipts, and you go collect sales, and then whatever you make from the money, the 50%, I'll just give you complete profit. I'll give you the money for it, because they had so many expenses. And she's like, well, you make 50%? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, I want to do this. And she just recruited herself. I was like, okay, let's do this. But it was the game changer that we needed at the time, because I truly then saw into practice that this can work for anyone, and this can monumentally change someone's life. And so in September, we added 5 team members, and we brought great girls into our group. And, I recruited, I'm like way off my notes here. Let's see. Nicole and Christy and my great aunt Sue, because at the end, you're just calling people, and she was like, you can get your Mary Kay at a discount, a 50% discount, and she was mad because she did not know that, and she had bought Mary Kay for so long, and she was really mad. And then number 10 was my mom, my biggest cheerleader and supporter, and she just did it for personal use at the time, but that's a cool story too. So on October 1st, we submitted for DIQ, and when you talk about DIQ and director and qualifications, they tell you that you only need 2 months to do it, and they really are true, because the first month of DIQ, I just spent freaking out. I just was like, I mean, who can remember the meeting where I was like, but I was worrying when I thought it was working. And in that month's time frame, just neat things happened where we added a couple great people. My mother-in-law, Brenda, came back into the company for personal use. Jessica and Jackie, and then Rachel came on our team too. And she was a game changer for us, because Mary Kay works for any woman in their life. And that woman has 7 children. 7 children, she's a saint. But Mary Kay works for her, and she's a red jacket now. She's awesome. But in that month too, my mom came to me and she was like, what do you think about if I would sell Mary Kay? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, you are. And she's like, no, I mean actually sell it. See, I'm married and have kids, and my sister got married in August, and my brother is off at school in Chicago, and I was like, that'd be great. And so Mom took off in her business, and she has a great business just helping other women in the same spot that she's in life, and that transition period. So that's just so cool. So we made it through October and into November, and November was a great month, a powerful month with holidays, and we added so many teams, Adrian, Sharon, Jennifer, Taylor, and Jocelyn, and that was an important month for my Mary Kay business, because if you don't believe in the territories, the fact that we don't have territories in Mary Kay, we're a testimony to that, because we've ordered our first team member from the state of Missouri to our team. And then we ended up with another team member from the state of Arkansas and the state of Mississippi. So Mary Kay, you can do that. And us as Gen Yers, we can do that. The internet is a great thing, and you can inspire people through that. And then in December, we just needed to shut it down. Like, that's what my word was. We're just going to shut this thing down. Like, shut it down. And we added 5 more team members that month, Cassie and Hannah and Melissa and Haley, and then my grandma, number 24, my best customer up to this point. But she was the support that I needed, and said she would be the last one. And she rallied for us, and it was amazing to have people calling you and asking you and saying, hey, what can I do to help you? People want to be a part of a winning team. They want to be a part of your winning team. So 24 women came into my life in such a short time frame, but they didn't just change their lives, they changed mine too. At first, when you become a sales director, everyone asks you how you did it. Like, what'd you do? Tell me how you did it. And I'm like, I don't know what I did. And now I just really know that it was a part of God leading us to where we were meant to be. Because the other major thing that I didn't tell you was that the day I got home from seminar in July, a chicken barn company that we had been on the waiting list for several years called us and asked us to put up a chicken barn. And it was just all part of God's plan. That chicken barn company, that first one, might have been the company for us. But if that wouldn't have fell through, I never would have found Mary Kay, and I never would have found what God was really calling for my life. So, as she said, 2 weeks ago, we got 29,000 chickens, and now my husband runs the barn, and will continue to work and farm part-time with my family, and I just get to help when I can. It's fun. I do like it. I mean, I don't know. But as I was putting this together, I had made the speech already because I kind of had told my story at a unit meeting, and then being Anna, as I am, I did not save it, so I had to remake my speech. And as I was doing that, I found something I had saved, that I made on July 2nd of last year, and it was the 50 reasons why I wanted to debut as the director of Mary Kay. And so to go back and look at it and see, I'm just going to read a couple. To fulfill God's purpose he has given me, to lead women, to again dream big and accomplish my goals, to say I did it, to be a woman that women look up to mentor others and women not only in Mary Kay but in their faith, to allow God to lead me in a way that I never would have imagined, boldly believing in his purpose, to be a success story, to show that if you want to move into management quickly, you can, to walk through the storm knowing that God is before me and behind me, and to have complete faith. And then to believe, set a goal, work hard, achieve, and then be amazed at God's work and plan. So that's what we got to do. So that's a little bit about my story, but now I just want to take some time and introduce my family and the ones that helped support us and get us to where we are. So Lucas, if you'll come up here.